Hey friends, time for an experiment. For the Halloween video, we want to make spider webs using hot glue, which is a really fun technique that I've never done before. So, got a hot glue gun with just normal hot glue in it, and I have my air compressor hooked up at about 25 or 30 psi. And basically, I'm gonna squeeze out hot glue like that, and then blast it with the air compressor onto my target over there. And hopefully we'll make a bunch of really cool looking spider webs and a little bit of a mess. So let's give it a shot, see what happens. Safety first. Don't want to be flinging hot glue all over my face. And then set up here. And I guess I just do this. What? Oh, that's awesome. So this definitely looks like webs that are just clung on there, but on this wrinkle there's some really cool like space under it. This definitely feels stuck. Like you might be able to peel it off, but that seems pretty well on there. I did get a big goober right there, so I probably want to try and avoid that, especially if it's something you want to be able to take off. But I would not fling this stuff on anything that you don't want to be covered in it forever.
Yeah, I wouldn't use this outside either, because this would just be stuck in the environment forever.
All right, so the next thing we want to try is some glow-in-the-dark hot glue. I've got the little hot glue gun hooked up with glow-in-the-dark glue, and I'm going to give that a shot. Well, it definitely works just as well. The little nozzle worked just great. And now we can go in the bathroom and see if it's glowing in the dark. This is the hot glue that has glow-in-the-dark in it, and I'm just sort of charging it with my flashlight here. And then maybe we'll shut the door, see if it's glowing. Okay, and then I'll move the thing away. It's extremely faint. But the glow-in-the-dark stuff doesn't really work, I think, when you make strands so thin.
I wonder how it would look with a black light. We don't have one of those.
We have a UV light. Let me go grab that. This is a UV flashlight, and that looks really cool.
What's the other hot glue look like?
So this is the glow-in-the-dark one. That's kind of green and purple from the light, and then the other one just looks purple. It's not fluorescing? Fluorescing? It's not glowing like that is. Yeah,
that looks like a kind of an alien organic effect you'd use in a movie.
So maybe if you were decorating a set with this, you will also have a black light on it to give it that effect.
Definitely.
Yeah. But it doesn't really glow in the dark if you spray it out like this. Now we know. The next experiment, we've got a giant silicone mat here, and I'm going to spray a bunch of webs all over it and see if I can peel it off. Let's give it a go. All right. I mean, it should, in theory, be cooled right away. Just blast it into air. Let's hit it with a little more. And then see if we can peel it off. It's definitely not sticking, so that's awesome. Whoa! Oh, sweet. Oh, now we're talking.
That's like a sunburn peel.
That's awesome.
Got some.
This might be how we do this.
This is like Shelob level.
Oh gosh. Here's my web. Bit-O web. There's some goobers in there, so I think next time I make one I can be a little more careful, but let's see how this could go over. And you could heat this with a heat gun. You could stretch it out over the thing you have.
Yeah, I mean it'll tear eventually, but
that's okay.
This looks totally like what they did with the Shelob stuff in Lord of the Rings.
I bet that's exactly what it was. But if you stretch it over there, like over it, that looks really cool. It's like going into the temple and there's a thing and you're like, there's a vice in there! Yay! Well, this has been a successful batch of testing. I can't wait to use these techniques in our video. Time for an unboxing. For the Halloween video, we've got a giant inflatable T-Rex complete with T-Rex hands. And we just got it, so check it out. See what we have to work with here. It is, of course, Jurassic World themed. There is an intake here for the fan. There we go, we got a big old T-Rex head. And I imagine you unzip the front and climb in, but we'll check it out and see if we can get this thing to go on our mannequin so we can work on it. To inflate this whole thing, there's this little fan, and it runs off of 4 AA batteries. I have no idea how long that'll last. But I think we can lay this out and get our mannequin buddy in there if I get a little help. There we go. I just found out that I was stuffing his foot down his tail.
His arms need to go inside. I think it's a lot easier when you can bend over in the costume.
Yeah. Okay, let's stand him like this and get a time lapse of him inflating. That might be about it. Ta-da! So now we're gonna try and make him a Batman hood. What could go wrong?
New best friend.
I have an update on my wrench. Wait, how do I not have my wrench with me? Hold on. This wrench. So I put out the call and you guys answered it, looking up a bunch of different wrenches to see if we can find where this fella came from. And I haven't quite solved the mystery yet, but I know a lot more now than I did last week. In fact, I know a lot more about wrenches than I knew last week. I actually found my wrench. So this is a antique tool auction that went on in 2012. A little out of date, but one of the lots in this auction, this one was these 3 wrenches. Planet Junior. A lot of people said that my wrench was a Planet Junior wrench. It is definitely of this style. It looks almost identical, but this is probably the generic knockoff of the Planet Junior one because it doesn't have the text in there. But anyway, there's an Emerson one there and then mine, and it definitely has the same insignia. Now, some people were saying that this might be 3/4 for 3/4 of an inch, which would make sense. And maybe that's the case. Although when I look at it, I think it's a B. Now the listing for this, for that lot here, 3 implement wrenches, called an implement wrench. I don't know what that means specifically, but that's what these were called. The Emerson 518, very good. Planet Junior 3, complete and fine. And an almost identical wrench with a pierced handle marked B18. So these guys thought it was a B. They don't know what brand it is or whatever. So I found the wrench, but I still don't know who made it or where it came from. But man, this looks almost identical. It even has the sort of broken off sprue, although mine looks a little bit different than that one. But that's pretty bang on there. The comments here on Patreon were great. It was really fun to go through and see all the different wrenches that you guys found. So thanks so much for sharing those with me. This is really fun. If you have more information or if you still want to tinker more, last week's vlog covers that. If you want to go do a little wrench research. Now, because Bill here has a fantastic name and he enjoyed the tool story section, I'm going to do another one. Today's story is about this DeWalt knife, this Extendo snap blade utility knife. If you watched any of my videos in the last forever, you've probably seen me use this knife, especially on foam. It's a really solid knife, metal body. As you can see, it has been well loved, but I got it almost in this exact condition. I have added some love to this, but it was already pretty beat up when I got it, and it still works awesome. I got this, man, I would have to check when I bought this, go check my emails, but someone who lived in Seattle reached out to me because he had a whole bunch of molding and casting supplies. He had silicone, plaster bandages, all sorts of stuff for like life casting types of, life casting body parts, whatever. Anyway, he tweeted at me or emailed me or whatever and was like, hey, I'm moving. I got a bunch of box full of stuff I'll give to you for a really good deal. So I drove into Seattle, bought that box of things, and I used almost everything in that box over the last 5-7 years, however long it's been. But the thing I used the most was this knife. This was in that box. I guess he didn't need it anymore, threw it in there, and I got it, and I've used it nearly every day since. Now, there isn't anything particularly special about this knife. It is very durable, obviously. It's been through a lot. It's got a metal body on the outside, which is really nice. Fairly thin profile. I don't know. It's not that I like it or enjoy it or whatever. I got it, and it works, and it continues to work, and I still use it. The blades get replaced pretty often because I use them a lot. I sharpen them as much as I can, but then they get replaced. But yeah, this is my pocket knife. I'm not like attached to it or anything. It just happens to be the one I've used for a long time. I have lots of other ones, like these smaller, thinner ones. We have a couple of wider ones. They're all fine. This one came with a 3D printer, I think. But yeah, this just happens to be the one that I got. I have no affiliation with DeWalt, although most of the tools I have that I bought from them seem to work pretty great. And there you go. This has been your tool story and the knife that Bill's owned for a really long time. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, and just to show you how this usually works, there we go, let's move the light. For context, when I was working out of our basement, this was where my main workbench was, or this was my main workbench. I still use it, but when we're filming, I'm over on the big thing for now. I built this little shelf just under the lip of my cutting mat here, and I have my sharpener, I have my knife that I was just showing you, I have a box cutter, and I have a small 6-inch ruler. These were things that I would use a lot foam smithing, so I always had them right there and I could just grab them carefully. I mean, the blade is out on this, maybe not super safe, but these are all things I used every single day, so they were always in hand's reach. So when I'm working, foam smith, foam smith, foam smith, I need to sharpen my knife. There's my knife sharpener. I sharpen it and put it away. Now, I don't do this anymore on the big workbench because I don't have a little lip under it. But I might do something like that again. I don't know. It seemed to work out pretty well. A lot of the tools I use when I'm like foam smithing or like sanding stuff, I end up having every single file, every single knife, every pen, every ruler. Those all come out and just get spread across the workbench. I think it'd be kind of cool to have like a spot just under it where that stuff can stay, where it's not gonna roll around and cover all that valuable horizontal surface. I don't know, just a thought. Just a thought. I think that's gonna wrap it up from me here in the shop this week. You can see my deflated buddy over here. We are finishing up the T-Rex costume today. We're finishing up the Nazgul costume today. And then I think tomorrow we're finishing up the Ghostbuster costume. So those are the 3 costumes we're putting in our Halloween video. You'll have an extra credit video on Friday, and the video will be released early on Friday for you. So look forward to that in just a couple of days. I have to get back to work and finishing this thing. But I'm really overjoyed with the progress. We made a costume for this guy yesterday, and it's pretty great. Can't wait for you to see it. Okay, thanks so much for hanging out today in the shop with me. Always enjoy having you around. Always enjoy reading your comments. Thanks for helping me out with my wrench quest. And that'll do it. Thanks as always for the support. You guys are wonderful. I love that we get to do this, and we only really get to do this because of you. So thanks. Keep it up. Guess I'll just see you in a couple more days with some ridiculous Halloween costumes. I'll see you then.